What's up, Team Tobias? What's up, Orangetown, New York? Lane Haymont here, and Rose for quelling your query conundrums. And holy shit, I said it right that time.
You did it. You did it. It's been a while too, so I'm surprised that we got it right the first time.
I know, someone's been too busy for me.
We've been to LA. We've had book launches. I'm just, you know, I don't know what book it is, but there's book launches and like things going on. So I don't know. So it's just been a lot.
I was gonna say, tell us about your book. It's your book that came out. How'd it go? What'd you do? Where'd you do it at?
It was great. Had a launch here in my home city, that where I'm living right now, which went really well. And then also got to do some stuff in Los Angeles while we were there, sign some stock and visit some bookstores and things. And I'll be in North Carolina later this month to do some more signings and also attend a book club that is going to be reading The Seemingly Impossible Love Life of Amanda Dean and discussing it with me present. Oh my gosh. Am I nervous? Yes. Yes, I am.
Fancy pants.
I know.
Look at you. Way to go, Ann Rose.
Just trying to do the things. Just trying to do the things. Trying to sell
Yeah.
the things too.
Yep. Are you working on a next book? Because
Yeah,
wasn't it a 2 book contract for 6 figures that you got?
that is correct. We have book number 2 in the works. I'm working on edits currently. We have a title. So
Ooh, what is it?
it's now I'm going to see if I get it right. It's a excellent chance to fall in love.
I love it. That's great. Because we were bouncing around all these titles that you could not connect with because they're all horrible. And I suggested all these great ones. They got shot down in great fashion. And, I cried a little bit on the toilet, but I got over it.
It happens sometimes. I think that's what we're running with at this point. So it's pretty exciting. Hopefully we'll have more news on it soon. I know that we're already talking cover and all of those things.
Ooh.
So yeah, lots of stuff going on for that. So
Same cover artist?
I don't know. I don't. They have their ways over there at Berkeley, right? So I'm along for the ride a little bit. I would not be disappointed if it was the same artist. I think she's fantastic. But we'll see what they come up with. So
Who is the cover artist? Because I now follow her on Instagram because she's actually, I don't want to say actually, like I doubted it, but I mean, she's a fantastic artist and like an actual artist, like who just happened to do a book cover. And I'm like, because everyone we showed, because I pitched Anne's book all over LA, everyone loved the cover.
yeah, her name is Susanna Gentili, and she is an Italian artist, and she is fantastic. I sing her praises whenever I get a chance to. Her artwork just speaks to me on a really deep level, so I'm pretty excited that she got to. This was her first cover, and it was mine, and she's
Oh.
amazing. So I adore her.
Do you have her Instagram handle off the top of your head?
I mean, it's her name, so
Oh,
at
okay.
SUSANAGENTILLI. I'm pretty sure is what her handle is. I could look it up real quick if you want.
Yeah, then we'll put it in the description below. Maybe she does what do they call it? You pay some freelance. Maybe some of our listeners, all 2 of them, can
The
hire her
two.
to do something.
Okay, I was wrong about the handle. It's
Oh
just
my god!
at Suzy SUZYGENTILI. So I was pretty close though. So you have to give me a little credit for for getting
That
pretty
much.
close.
That much.
So
Okay. So we should probably get into the query
we,
because
you
that's what
know,
this thing is actually about.
5 minutes in, haven't even talked about the query. Listeners, what are you going to do? What are you going to do to
Yep.
us? All right. Well, first off, I want to say, Ben, getting some great messages through the query box or through our query conundrum box. So keep sending them along. Love getting your feedback. Love seeing your queries in there. So thank you so much for everyone who is sending along or having thoughts and opinions, whatever, commenting below. Love it. Love it. Love the engagement. So keep it coming. So that's first and foremost. Second, I'm going to read this query that I have not read before and I'm looking at for the first time, as is Lane is hearing for the first time. So I will pronounce things wrong, especially if we're in a fantasy series. And you're just going to have to go with it. I'm just a terrible out loud reader and I've accepted it and embraced it. I hope you can too. So, all right, we ready?
Yep.
All right. Based on, wait, does it say, oh yeah, dear agent, love that. Okay, dear agent, based on your interest in insert personalization, I kind of am obsessed with that. I'm submitting my debut adult romantasy novel with crossover potential title for your consideration. Imagine being forced to become the very thing you despised, only to find out it was the key to destroying it. Zelina long wished for a peaceful life in the work camps. Anything was better than becoming one of the brute soldiers frightening the village streets. When tested at 16 and claimed absolutely ordinary, she got her wish and was taken to the mines. Coincidentally, on her 18th birthday, Zelina is sent a token of conscription, offering a chance to become an elite rider of a broken in military dragon, or, should she refuse, death. But how could she possibly pass up the chance to take down the tyrannical rulers who have held her in chains and tortured those she cares about from the inside out? Through gripping trials designed to bring her worst nightmares to life, Zelina is molded into the perfect lethal soldier, and with her squadron leader's help, what once was a wounded lamb becomes a fierce lioness, heightening her heart's desire to make it out alive. But as she fights to make it to the elite, Zelina uncovers more than just her lost heritage. When the border between two lands is crossed and the brass soldiers march towards war, Zelina learns the key to taking down the chief controlling the citadel. The only problem, it involves sacrificing the soul of the one she loves. But where there's darkness, there's light, with truth unraveled, more powerful than any before. One that no dragon can refuse. With the light military style of Fourth Wing, a witty protagonist, an heir to a promised kingdom found in the Throne of Glass series, and a quest to seek the truth, threatening to unravel the world reminiscent of When the Moon Hatched. Title is complete at 119,700 words. Though intended to be the first book in the series, it can also stand alone. Working on new other projects as well as the second book in the series. Thank you for your time and consideration. Any feedback is warmly welcomed and appreciated. That's it. Yeah, this is a long one, so let's.
I was gonna say.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of interesting things in here, but I think we might have this query. I think suffers from too much information. So let's get into it.
Please.
Based on your interest in insert personalization, I'm submitting my adult debut adult romantasy novel with crossover potential title for your consideration. Obviously, totally fine. What?
Crossover what?
It says crossover potential. And
What
that
does
just
that mean?
oh, I mean, when it says adult romantasy and it says it's got crossover, it just means that young adults will also like the book. So it
so I'm the
crosses
stupid
over.
one. Gotcha. Okay.
It just crosses over from adult to young adult. That's how I read
Gotcha.
that. I mean, if they
That
meant
makes sense.
something else, I don't know what that is, but I think that's what they mean.
That
So,
makes sense.
but I do like that they are very solid in that this is an adult romantasy. So I think that that's good. So I think a lot of books have crossover potential or appeal. I'm not sure if it's necessary to say it in a query letter, but because usually it's kind of obvious if it is or if it isn't. But this author clearly puts it on a shelf, so you gotta love that, right?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Excellent. Let's keep going. And also love the insert personalization because you gotta personalize it some way, but we don't. I love it. I love it. Just love it. Okay. So First, hooky sentence. I think this is their hook. Imagine being forced to become the very thing you despised, only to find out it was the key to destroying it. Okay. This is your hook sentence, and I think it's a little too like vague and mystical. What do you think?
Yeah, there's a lot of vague, mystical stuff in there that I didn't necessarily connect with. It felt like a very large scale story, whereas I didn't know the character, who they were.
I think that this hook sentence could be more effective if this author got very specific on what she's meaning in this sentence. Like, you know, Xena is forced to be a cat when she lives in a world of dogs. Okay, that's a very bad example, but also just being more specific to the point of what it is in this story, in this world. What is the thing you despise? What is the key to destroying it? Like, give us more specifics in that hook. And I think this is actually could be a very hooking sentence.
I feel hooked already.
You feel hooked already.
Yep. You hooked me. There we go.
Excellent. Okay. It was the dogs and cats thing, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
It really was.
Dogs and cats.
I mean, you can't lose. All right. Let's move on. Xena long wished for a peaceful life in the work camps. Anything was better than becoming one of the brute soldiers frightening the village streets. When tested at 16 and claimed absolutely ordinary, she got her wish and was taken to the mines. Coincidentally, on her 18th birthday, Zelina is sent a token of conscription, offering a chance to become an elite rider of a broken-in military dragon, or should she refuse, death. But how could she possibly pass up the chance to take down the tyrannical rulers who have held her in chains and tortured those she cared about from the inside out? All right. I almost think that this is enough for the entire query.
Yeah, there's a lot of adjectives. There's a lot of stuff going on. She would rather be a slave than a brute terrorizing the village. I mean, there's a lot of things that feel similar but don't connect.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
I think we're getting too much detail here. Like, is it important for us to know about what she wanted when she was 16 if we're not even starting there? I'm a little worried that we do start there at 120,000 words. And as it being part of the query letter talking about when she was 16, I kind of worry. I could be wrong, but I do worry that we're going to see her at 16 and get that piece of it here. And I don't think that's where this story starts. So that is like backstory to the story. I don't think we need that here. I don't think we need it in the book necessarily to understand like where this plot is going. So I would probably cut that. It also kind of contradicts. Like, she wants to be in the work camp, but then she's angry also because she's been tortured in the work camp. So I mean, I can see how obviously it's a shitty situation. Absolutely.
Who wants to go to a work camp?
So yeah, so it feels a little contradictory in and of itself. So again, just a little too much information. We probably don't need all of that here. However, I do have to say that there are huge stakes that the author gives us right off the bat. She can either take riding this broken-in military dragon, or they'll just kill her. Like, so, I mean, you got to give it to her that there, or them, you got to give it to the author here that there are stakes for sure. So, all right, moving on. Through gripping trials designed to bring her world's worst nightmares to life, Zelina is molded into the perfect lethal soldier, and with her squadron leader's help, what once was a wondrous lamb becomes a fierce lioness, heightening her heart's desire to make it out alive. But as she fights to make it to the elite, Zelina uncovers more than just her lost heritage. This gives us way too many questions without any answers.
And I've learned from fantasy that you need to be the purple prose, like from a lamb to a lioness. In fantasy, does that mean she's actually a lamb who becomes a lioness? That may seem silly, but in fantasy, you never know.
I mean, that is a true statement. That is a true statement. I didn't read it like that. I read it like as you know, part of her character growth, which, you know, I'm here for a woman coming into her own in a story. So I appreciate this, but at the same time, I don't think that we need this in the query. Yeah, I know,
You-
it's shocking. Are you shocked? Are you shocked?
I am. I
Yeah, it's
am. I
definitely
thought you were
shocking.
all about the meek and submissiveness.
Yeah, it's totally weird. So anti my, brand or whatever. So, I think you probably could author, I think you probably could cut this paragraph and you would lose nothing from this query because again, we don't really know about her lost heritage. This is the first time we're hearing of it here. So this really doesn't give us too much new information, but it does beg too many questions.
Heritage. She may actually be a lamb who becomes a lioness. Her
She,
lost
I mean,
heritage. Mic drop.
You could be right. I don't know. All right. So when the border between two lands is crossed and the brass soldiers march toward war, Zelina learns the key to taking down the chief controlling the citadel. The only problem, it involves sacrificing the soul of the one she loves. But where there's darkness, there's light, with a truth unraveled more powerful than before, one that no dragon can refuse. Again, don't think we need this. Don't think it's telling us anything. But save this for the synopsis. Like we're getting in the weeds here.
Yeah, it's adjective soup. Brass soldiers. What the hell are those? Chief controller of the Citadel. What Citadel? We haven't heard about a Citadel. My Citadel? I'll take a Citadel. I want one.
Well, exactly. So I think this author clearly knows their story very well and awesome. Great. It's obviously a complex world. Love it. Just there's way too much here. So remember, query, who's your main character? What do they want? What are their goals? What stands in the way? What are the obstacles? What happens if they fail? Stakes. So, I mean, there is some small stakes of like why this main character is anchored into this plot. So, like, has to ride the dragon or will die. But what's the bigger story here beyond that? Because obviously that's part of what anchors her in and why she has to do this thing, like her inciting incident. But what's the bigger overarching plot goal? What is she trying to get in the end? What happens if she doesn't get those things in the end of this book? Because this one says it could stand alone. Next paragraph. With the light military style of Fourth Wing, a witty protagonist and heir to a promised kingdom found in the Throne of Glass series, and a quest to seek the truth threatening to unravel the world reminiscent of When the Moon Hatched, title is complete at 119,700 words. Though intended to be the first book in a series, it can stand alone. Okay, we're setting the bar super high here. Super high. So be careful, author. You're saying that this book is Fourth Wing, Game of Thrones. Like, you can't even see my hand. So you set the bar really, really high for yourself. So the expectation is that this book is going to hit that bar. So it's better if you can pull it back and hit something a little bit lower, a little middle, more mid list here to set that bar, set yourself up for success, right? You want to reach for the moon, but you hope to land on a star.
Is it the opposite? You reach for the stars and land on the moon?
I don't know. It probably should be, but I think it's said the other way, isn't it? I don't know.
I don't know.
Either's good. Let's just go with it. So there you go. So that is basically it. They also said that they are working on the second book in their bio paragraph, which I highly recommend not doing this because if book one doesn't sell and your plans are not to self-publish book one, then you are taking time working on book two, and what are you going to do with it? So, and I don't say this to be an a-hole. I just am realistic in the marketing traditional publishing world that there not always is a book two. So I suggest write the outlines for this, whatever, put it to the side and then start working on whatever your next project is. If traditional publishing is absolutely the 100% the way you want to go for your debut. So that's just my 3 cents. Anything else from you, Elaine?
Would you request the pages? That's the age-old question of this show.
It is the age-old question. I think that I would look at the pages and see what they're about. I think that I always enjoy a strong female character. I think that's what we have here. I love a woman who stands up for her convictions, which I think that that's something that we are seeing in this. I think this query is a little muddled, so I'm not quite sure what we're getting here, but I would look at the pages and see what the voice is like here, and I would absolutely read the synopsis. So
Okay. I might actually look at the pages just to figure out what the F is going on, because the query feels very much like adjective soup. I said that before. And I think with big, grand fantasies like this, you want to focus on the small story, the person in the world who gets pulled into the extraordinary, if that makes sense.
it does.
Okay, so we're having our AMA live October 30th,
30th.
7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I tend to forget telling people 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, August 30th. I believe it's a Wednesday.
August.
No, October.
October.
Ah! I knew I'd mess it up. October 30th, Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern. Oh, Ann Rose, take us out, please.
Oh my gosh. Yes. So make sure you join us for our AMA of the month, which is this month, October the 30th, which is Wednesday at 7:00 p.m. Eastern Time. Come with questions. Come just to listen. Come just to tell us, I don't know, that we're terrible. I have no idea. Do whatever you want. Come talk to us. Hopefully it'll be fun. Thanks again to everyone for listening. If you enjoyed this and you're having a conundrum query of your own, a query conundrum of your own, make sure you send us an email and maybe we will read it on air and hopefully help you out with your query conundrums. So thanks to Lane Haymont and me, Ann Rose. We will see you next time.